Over the weekend, these pictures of members of the Islamic State in West Africa province sharing money and foodstuff to some residents of northeast Nigeria were widely shared on social media. In more pictures, the group organized a Ramadan preaching session with hundreds of children and adults in attendance. The pictures point to one thing: the terror groups control territories within Nigeria. An independent researcher and conflict reporter, Aliyu Dahiru, joins us from Abuja to discuss this. Good morning, Mr. Dahiru.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for being here. So you are one of the few people who first posted those pictures online. What can you tell us about the pictures? As in, where did you get them from? And regarding the content, because lots of people say, could this have been in Nigeria or not, and what exactly is happening in those pictures? So how do you interpret this for us?
This is not the first time that these terrorists spread propaganda pictures or videos on social media, especially those encrypted social media spaces like Telegram and others like that. So this is not the first time they have been releasing this kind of videos and these pictures. And ISWAP, that is Islamic State in West Africa province, they release these pictures as part of their other pictures they release in other countries in Africa, in West Africa, not only in West Africa, but the world over. I mean, from their parent body, that is Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. So the pictures are parts of those released by the IS world over.
We know what the pictures look like. This ISWAP fighters distributing money and food, to these people. Lots of people say maybe they're trying to convert them, recruit them into their fold. But what's the fact?
When they capture territories, they forcefully combat people. Even if you say you are not actually going to join the group, they will forcefully combat you into it. They will force you into the group. So even without spreading the money, I think they were initiating these people into their group. But spreading the money is actually a propaganda methodology that they are using to show, yes, even if you join us, we are going to give you something. It's not like we are going to leave you alone. It's not like we are going to give you with financial distress and depression. We are actually going to support you. It's the same thing that they did when they captured JOINDEM in Yobe State. They followed all the houses in JOINDEM and they started giving them like 20K per household. So It's actually a propaganda method that they are using to, attract the attention of the others who didn't join. To tell them that even if you join, it's not actually going to end in futile. We are going to support you. We are going to give you money. We are going to give you food. We are going to give you whatever you require that Nigerian state or other African states are not going to give you.
All right. So what does this say about the idea of them controlling territory and territories in northern Nigeria? Does this give, does that make that true? And of course, what does it also say about Nigeria's security agencies and their level or the ability to wipe these persons out of Nigeria's space?
Well, I think so many people commenting on social media misunderstand these things. Boko Haram captured some distant territory. It's not like in 2014, when they captured about 20 local governments, local governments that are in the town. Nowadays, Boko Haram attacks were mostly in the villages or remote areas of Nigeria, but they are still controlling some places. So it's not like they were totally abolished from controlling any territory. They're actually controlling some villages. And the thing is, if they come and attack a particular location, they stay there for a while before the army would now come and liberate the place. So it's not like what people are thinking, that the government has abandoned the spaces or the villages, that abandoned the communities, and these people are controlling the things. And another thing is that there are many innocent people out there in those communities they are controlling. So if we are to see like an airstrike operation would be done, then a lot of innocent people will be killed. So there are lots of ways that these particular places would be a kind of liberated or kind of saved from the hands of these people without harming the innocent people out there. So most of the time when the government talk about accepting repentant Boko Haram terrorists, the government is not actually talking about the fighters. They're talking about those people that joined the Boko Haram forcefully.
Okay.
So a lot of people misunderstand. It's not all about that Chikau has now become repentant and now we are accepting him, or any other big commander has accepted peace and dropped his arm. Therefore, the government is integrating him into the society. It's not like that.
Okay.
Most of those that are integrated into the communities or back into the society, most of them were forcibly pushed into the terror organization unwillingly. I mean, so it's not like that. So many people don't understand these things. They just keep ranting on social media without understanding what's going on in the field.
All right, Mr. Dahiru, you mentioned earlier that these ISWAP fighters could go from house to house after, capturing a territory, and then they begin to give them money as much as 20,000 naira, like you've said, for each household. And in the pictures we saw, these, terrorists were distributing 500 naira notes to young kids. In your research as, a conflict writer, were you able to in any way trace the source of these funds? Would you say these are from their financiers, these are from, ransom payments?
Well, Boko Haram actually have many sources of income. Sometimes when they raid a particular location, they confiscate money from the residents. That is another one. And another thing is that they engage into some small, like fishing. They get taxes from the people, the resident of the particular place they captured. That is another thing. And sometimes they engage into kidnapping for ransom. So they get a lot of money. Getting financiers or funders outside their zone is really difficult nowadays, especially with the new banking system that we have with the BVN and all those stuff. And the Nigerian government is tracking all the activities of people transacting with any other person, especially those kind of terrorists. So it's really difficult to be, engaging into transactions, online transactions with these people. But these are the major sources of their income. They get taxes from the residents of the particular location they captured. That is number one, and they confiscate money from the people in the residence, especially those who they tag unbelievers. That is, those who are not following the same particular ideology that they are following. They confiscate their properties and money because they think that is permissible according to their own interpretation of Sharia law.
Mr. Dahiru, so basically it's true what we hear, that some communities actually come together, to contribute money to pay to these terrorists as taxes and levies so they can be protected.
It's not so that they can be protected. It's that they fear that they may be killed if they do not pay that. It's just like kidnapping for ransom. If you do not pay, the terrorist will kill your brother or your husband or your close one. So you have to pay if you need your, close one to be released. That's the same thing.
No, I'm not talking about the ransom. I mean the taxes. The taxes you mentioned, not the ransom.
That's where I'm coming. So when they capture a particular location, the residents, if they need their life to be, secured, therefore they have to pay this kind of taxes when they impose them on them. Until when the army will now come and liberate that particular location. That is it.
Well, I also want you to speak on, what, like an eye on the ground is like for those locations. For those that the army has not liberated, and of course, from what you're describing, once the army liberates a place, do they still come back to those locations, or that's it for them in that location? And what is it like on ground with these people? Do you see them walking around Are they part of the community? Is there places where people know that they stay and they leave? Share with us, paint a picture of what it is like on ground.
I didn't understand. Do you mean like what's it on the ground when they capture a particular location?
No, yeah, when these
What is
ISWAP
life
fighters,
like, right?
exactly, what is it like? Do they live among these people? Are they walking around, with their weapons?
Yes, that's what they do actually. They live with them. They try to cycle that particular location, especially, villages, they have small population. So they could control them even without, sophisticated arms or millions of or thousands of fighters. They actually live with them and they try to impose their own interpretation of violent Sharia law in that particular location. They live with them until maybe at sometimes when the army would come and break that particular location. And the thing is that most of what is happening is that the army have limited number of fighters to remain at that particular location after they liberate it. So when they liberate that particular location and all those properties in that location, actually are destroyed, then they move to another location to liberate them. So while moving there, unfortunately, these terrorists at some time they come back to that particular location. That is a major problem that the Nigerian government, I think, or the Nigerian forces are facing in the Northeast, especially in the Lake Chad. And another thing, let me tell you the thing is that these terrorists have their own propaganda. The propaganda is not only in videos or only in pictures. Sometimes they try to implement what the government could not implement in remote villages. I mean, like, they try to bring basic amenities in that particular location. They try to bring, sometimes if there is, default, power system, that the electric system at that particular location, they try to see that they repair it so that the people start enjoying it and say, oh, you see, these people are even more merciful than the Nigerian government. But the terror comes later, especially when the people start to do something that is against what the terrorists are trying to implement there. Then that any mistake, then you would be killed. That is what's actually.
So, Mr. Darihiru, do we have an idea of just how much states, communities, or territories that these ISWAP or Boko Haram fighters control in northern Nigeria?
I can't actually say these are the numbers because I don't know actually. Sometimes I know what I see, I know what I can get from other places, or what other conflict reporters, or what I can get from the field. So that is it. But I cannot say these are the.
But how widespread is it?
Yeah, can you give an estimate of what their numbers are like?
I'm not conversant with all the locations in that part. Some villages I don't even know their names until they capture them. Then I will come to know their names. So I can't really estimate. But recently they captured JOINDEM, and they captured many territories in the Lake Chad region. And the Lake Chad region is not only Nigeria. There are parts of Cameroon. There is a part in Niger. There is Chad, and so many countries around there.
I was hoping that we can get to if they're in their hundreds or in their thousands across those regions.
Yeah. Do you mean in terms of fighters?
Yeah. Are they in their thousands or just a couple of hundreds of them?
I can't really say, but I believe there are thousands there because they force people to join them. That's their recruitment method.
All right.
They are forcing people, so you can't know these are the particular, those are the exact numbers that we have out there. But you know what? I actually know what I'm saying about that. When they capture a particular location, all males there, especially those who they see, they could have a military capability. They force them to join their fighters.
All right.
Aliyu Dahiru, thank you very much for your time this morning. Remember to continue to stay safe. We'll love to continue to speak with you every now and then.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we're still talking security, the state of the nation. After the break, we have the Director of Publicity and Advocacy of the Northern Elders Forum after the break. Do stay with us.